And then the other thing you do, like, you walk the talk. You know, a couple of months ago, you got 300 some thousand followers on Twitter. You had like 1,800 people, whatever it was, 1,000 that you were following, of which I was one. I'm like, hey, Brad Feld's following me. I looked up. You unfollowed everybody. I sent you an email. I was like, yo, B, because that's how I email you. I'm like, yo, B, you stopped following everybody on Twitter. Like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, I just can't. He said, I get on Twitter and, I'm focused on the future. And when I'm on Twitter, I feel like I go down this rabbit hole of all the stuff that's happened in the past and what's going on now. And I can't think straight. So I just unfollowed everybody.
Well, it's a good example. I was, I, and I can use Twitter as the example of follow Facebook. Several years ago, I deleted my Facebook account. Probably 4 years ago, 5 years, almost five. Yeah, probably 4 years ago. And it's very hard to delete a Facebook account. It was just remarkable to me how hard it was. I read a couple of blog posts about it at the time. Like, I don't need that. So really the only social media that I was deeply engaged with was Twitter. And I've always loved Twitter. As a user for many, many years. I was very active on Twitter. But I also then was finding, and I don't know how long ago this was that I unfollowed everybody, within the last year or two, but I was finding Twitter very unhealthy. And it had been trending that way for a long time. But for me personally, not just in terms of the people I was following, but the stuff that was I was being exposed to. I'd be exposed to some interesting stuff. But even within the entrepreneurial and venture world, I was finding it increasingly unhelpful, increasingly performative, increasingly hostile, independent of whether hostile just when somebody had a different point of view. So rather than being a place where there was interesting sort of discussion and things that I could learn from, just more and more as time passed, I found it uninteresting from that frame of reference. And I woke up one day and I'm like, the best way to engage, and everybody says I'm off Twitter, or I'm not spending as much time on social, or I'm not doing this. Again, when I looked at prioritizing myself, am I getting anything positive from this? The answer was no. Relative to what I'm getting out of this, am I getting enough positive, I should say? The answer was I was probably getting some positive, but it was very small. It wasn't zero, but it was small. What's the best way to disengage with it? And the best way to disengage with it is to unfollow everybody. And then not try to create a narrative where I selectively follow people that make me feel better, because I actually didn't really find that the time that I was spending on Twitter was satisfying to me or helping me do what I was trying to do from both a work or personal perspective.